All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our webinar. My name is Valentina Facuse. I'm the pedestrian and bicycle coordinator here for the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency, also known as the Palm Beach TPA. If you don't know, March is actually Florida Bicycle Month. So we are hosting this webinar in honor of Florida Bicycle Month to spread awareness on bicycle safety and promote a healthier, more sustainable mode of transportation. So with that being said, let's get started. So before we begin the presentation, I wanted to share with you all a little bit more about my role here at the TPA and my passion for transportation. So at the TPA, we have 3 funding programs, and I administer one of them, the Transportation Alternatives Program, also known as the TA or TAP. The TA is a 3-year program aimed at funding small-scale pedestrian and bicycle projects to improve the walking and biking conditions for people of all ages and abilities. We actually just recently closed our cycle for applications for this year, and we received quite a few applications from municipalities all over the county, so we're really excited about that. I am also the liaison for our Vision Zero Advisory Committee, which has representatives from diverse groups such as law enforcement, planners, engineers, fire rescue, etc., that can provide insight into our shared goal with the Florida Department of Transportation of eliminating fatal and serious injuries. I also work with our partners to collaboratively plan, fund, and prioritize our transportation system to provide a safe, connected, and efficient transportation system. Now, although I do own a vehicle, I commute every single day to work by using transit, and I sometimes walk and bike to work as a first and last mile micromobility option. So here are some of the things that we'll be going over with. The first one is some of the benefits of using a bike, the bicycle safety basics and the Florida bicycle state laws, and some resources that we offer here at the TPA to address any bicycle issues or concerns. So first, we want to know, why do you ride a bicycle? So now I'm going to invite everyone to pull out your phones and go to pollev.com to provide your answer as to why you ride a bicycle. All right, thank you, everybody. Looks like we got a couple of answers back. So as you all know, using a bicycle has many benefits. The first one is for your mental health. It can decrease your level of stress and anxiety just by getting outside. It can provide, it's a way to incorporate physical activity by getting regular exercise into your busy day. It's also very convenient. It's a lot easier to find parking when you are using a bicycle instead of just driving your car. And travel time is more predictable than cars because there's no vehicular traffic. Riding a bicycle also has many economic benefits, and the community can also see many benefits as majority of car trips to school are within walking distance. Riding a bike or walking these trips can significantly reduce congestion around schools and improve the safety for children. And as you all know, using a bike is a more sustainable mode of transportation as it uses minimal fossil fuels and is pollution-free mode. So before riding, also make sure that you, your family, and the bicycles are ready to ride. So always remember to wear a bicycle helmet no matter how old you are. Also, make sure that you adjust your bicycle to fit. So make sure that you stand over your bicycle. There should be 1 to 2 inches between the rider and the top tube bar if using a road bike, and 3 to 4 inches if using a mountain bike. Always make sure to check your equipment before riding, control the bicycle, and watch for and avoid any road hazards. The image that you see in front of you is a child using a helmet. We encourage everybody to use a helmet, although the law states that riders under the age of 16 must wear a helmet that is compliant with CFR Part 1203 law. As a reminder, you must replace your helmet when it has been on a crash. A lot of people don't know this, but if you do ever get on a crash, you must replace your helmet. Also, when you are looking to buy a helmet, you make sure to look for the certification label inside the helmet. So here are 3 quick steps on how you can fit your helmet. The first one is to use 2-finger width between your eyebrows and helmet to see if it's fitting properly. Then you want to get your 2 fingers and putting to the next, right next to your ear, making a Y below the ear. Then you want to get 2 fingers as well and put it between your chin and strap to make sure that it fits properly. Right now, we're gonna play a video to show you all how to do this.
A bike helmet can only help when it fits properly. To make sure it does, use the 2-finger rule. First, place 2 fingers flat on your forehead, just above your eyebrows. The bottom of the helmet should sit above them. Then, form a V under your ear. Your helmet strap should follow the same path as your fingers. Finally, with the straps fastened, only 2 fingers should fit between the strap loop and your chin. Your helmet should now fit safe and snug. Did you know reflectors alone are not enough to make you visible?
Now I'm going to invite you all to take another quick second to take a quiz on what does the ABC Quick Check stand for. You can respond at pollev.com/Valentina Facuse 108. Okay, looks like we got a couple of correct answers. So ABC quick check does stand for air, brakes, chain, quick releases, and check. So before you go on a ride with your bike, make sure you check the following. Make sure you check your air. Make sure you check your brakes, inspect pads for wear, your chain, making sure that it's not rusty, and quick releases, making sure that all closed and pointing towards the back of the bike. And make sure you check that everything is working properly, and that you are wearing the proper attire for your bicycle. So make sure you're wearing closed-toed shoes, so to avoid any safety issues. When riding at night, make sure that you are visible and by wearing reflective clothing. So that can be any neon or bright colors. Make sure that you always turn on your bicycle lights, both your back lights and your front lights. According to Florida law, when bicycling at night, you must be equipped with your white lights at the front and red lights at the rear. So for the white lights on the front, you have to be visible greater than 500 feet. And for the rear lights, visible from greater than 600 feet. And this is to ensure safety and so that you are visible for all drivers. So whether you are riding on the road or on the sidewalk, always make sure to signal and communicate to others when you are approaching. So that could be using bike signals with your hands. So that is whether you are on the sidewalk or on the road, always make sure to signal, especially also when you are on the sidewalk. When you're approaching pedestrians and cyclists, also make sure to use your bike bell, pass on the left, and announce that you are passing. Beware that sometimes if you are riding on the sidewalk, some pedestrians may be using their headphones or may be hard of hearing. So make sure that you announce that you are passing loud enough so that they can hear you. Also, according to Florida Statutes 316.26.5, a bicyclist on the sidewalk must yield to pedestrians. So a bicycle is considered a vehicle, so all bicyclists must obey all road laws, which includes yielding to pedestrians at all times. If you have not heard, Florida statutes have been updated to reflect Senate Bill 950, which went into effect July 1st, 2021. This new bill, Florida statutes 316.0875, has a no passing zone to allow motorists to safely and briefly drive to the left of the center of the roadway to pass cyclists with a minimum of 3 feet passing distance. If you take a look at the left side of the slide, a driver must remain a safe distance behind the cyclist until able to pass. If it is safe to pass and there are no incoming vehicles, you must ensure at least 3 feet of space when passing, as seen on the right-hand picture. This is what you can do if there is no bike lane and need to pass a cyclist on the roadway. This next change will actually help mitigate right hook crashes. So the graphic on the left side of the screen shows a cyclist less than 20 feet from a driver. This can cause a safety issue for the cyclist as it does not allow enough space between the cyclist and driver in case a quick stop occurs. Instead, a driver must make both the approach for a right turn and as close as practical to the right hand or edge of the roadway. When overtaking and passing a bicycle proceeding in the same direction, Give an appropriate signal and make the right turn only if the bicycle is at least 20 feet from the intersection and is such a distance that the driver of the vehicle may turn safely. Now, the same rule applies even when the driver is making a right turn at an unsignalized intersection, as seen on the graphic on the right side. This new law displays how cyclists should be turning left. The driver is intending to turn left at an intersection. They must make the left turn so as to leave the intersection in the lane lawfully available to traffic moving in such direction. So say if a cyclist is intending to turn left, they are entitled to the full use of the lane from which the turn may legally be made. The person must make the left turn in that portion of the intersection to the left of the center of the intersection and approach the turn as close as practicable to the right of edge of the roadway after proceeding across the intersection roadway. If there is no bicycle lane present, bicyclists must ride as close as practical to the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway, as you can see on the picture on the screen. If the bicycle lane is too narrow to accommodate two abreast, then they must ride single file, except on a bicycle path. And we'll go over that in the next few slides. So as the picture shows, cyclists may ride more than two abreast if riding on a bicycle path, but remember to always yield to pedestrians. This picture shows a great example of how a cyclist can pass another cyclist, allowing at least 3 feet to pass. As a reminder, bicyclists on the roadway are expected to comply with traffic control devices. So when stopping at a stop sign, people riding in bicycle groups may proceed through the stop sign in a group of 10 or fewer at a time after coming to a full stop and obeying traffic laws. Motor vehicles must also allow one such group to travel through the intersection before moving forward. Now I will show you all a useful video highlighting some of the key rules of the road.
Maybe you ride to school. Maybe you ride for fun. Either way, when you're on a bike, you want to get where you're going safely. To do that, you need to remember a few key things. Be visible, follow the rules of the road, and be predictable. Okay, that's it, we're done. Well, not done exactly. We might have a few more things to say. When we say be visible, what we mean is be easy to see. Drivers should be watching for you, and they are, but do your part. Make sure your bike is ready for riding, and that includes having working lights and reflectors. In the daytime, wear bright colors. At night, wear something reflective, either clothing or gear. And dress for safety. If you're wearing loose pants, for example, strap down the pant leg on the chain side of the bike, like this, so it won't get caught while you're riding. And wear a bike helmet when you ride. It may or may not be the law where you live, but it's always a good idea. Of course, part of the idea of wearing a helmet is not to put it to the test, not to have a wreck in the first place. And that's all about where you choose to ride and how you do it. Bikes are considered vehicles. So when you're riding a bike on the road, follow the same rules as car drivers do. Just like a driver, you need to look for and obey road signs and traffic signals. We're talking stop signs, yield signs, red lights, and so on. Keep to the right, but far enough from parked cars so you don't get clipped by a door that opens suddenly. Usually that's at least 3 feet. But what happens when you don't have 3 feet? When the lane narrows, for example. That's when you need to take the lane. Taking the lane means that you move into the center of the lane, just like a car. You should do this when the lane narrows or when you're coming up to an intersection or some other kind of turn. In these situations, the center of the lane is usually the best place to be. When it's time to change lanes, you should look for traffic, signal, and then move one lane at a time. Traffic will always be changing, so it's important to look and signal each time you want to change lanes. Anytime you're uncomfortable with a traffic situation, you have choices. You can get off the bike and walk on the sidewalk. You can choose a different route, one that has bike lanes or slower traffic. Or you can use a combination of bike and transit. But no matter where you're riding, a road or a trail, always watch out for people walking. Move out of their way and let them know when you're about to pass them on the left.
On your left.
If there's one thing drivers count on, it's predictability. So one of the best ways to be safe is to be predictable. For example, use hand signals before you turn or stop. Ride in the same direction the cars are going, with the flow of traffic, not against it. And don't assume that drivers will see you just because you see them. You already know this part, but we're gonna say it anyway. Put your phone away while you're riding. You don't want to be talking or texting because you need to be alert and paying attention to what you're doing. Same goes for earbuds or headphones. You need to hear what's going on around you, so leave them in your bag for later. Keep both hands on the handlebars unless you're signaling, and keep your eyes open for hazards, things like wet roads, gravel, debris, anything that can mess with your ride. As we said up front, it really comes down to 3 things. Be visible, be predictable, and follow the same rules as a car. Make sure that drivers can see you, that you let them know what you're about to do, and that you're following the rules of the road. That's it. Have a good ride.
All right, so those were some of the new Florida state laws for cyclists. Hope you all enjoyed the video. We do have a couple of resources that you all can use for us to gather your input on any bicycle related issues or concerns. So the first one is walk bike safety audits. The TPA is tasked with conducting several walk bike safety audits every year to improve the walking and biking conditions by being on the ground and experiencing the built environment firsthand. So we actually conduct these audits in collaboration with the municipality, roadway owners, and stakeholders like Palm Tran or the school district of Palm Beach County to improve safety and access for people of all ages and abilities. So as you can see on the screen, we have a picture of our recently conducted walk bike safety audit for Lake Worth Middle School. On the right-hand side, you will see our reports that we provided to Rosenwald Elementary School for that walk bike safety audits. Typically, after these audits are conducted, we work collaboratively to plan, prioritize, and fund the identified safety improvements. So if you would like to conduct a walk bike safety audit within your jurisdiction, then you can contact me for more information. We also have an interactive comment map where if you have any bicycle, pedestrian, transit, vehicle, any transportation related issues, you can drop them down in this interactive comment map. So if you have any questions, you can contact me, and to provide your comments, you can go to palmbeachtpa.org/comment-map-map. We also have another map, but for this particular map that you can access, we have all of our bicycle and pedestrian existing conditions. So that's facilities. We also have transit hubs, anything that will help you if you are using a bicycle and help you navigate on where you can find a facility that works for you. In addition to this current webinar, we also have some other events coming up for Florida Bicycle Month. We have a Complete Streets workshop on March 24th from 2 to 4 p.m. For those of you that don't know, Complete Streets is a multidisciplinary approach that we are taking to improve our non-motorized facilities and public transportation system to really just create a more connected, efficient, and safe transportation system. So at this workshop, we will be going over what Complete Streets really is, how to adopt a Complete Streets policy within your jurisdiction, and how to use our newly updated Complete Streets design guidelines to incorporate Complete Streets elements within your jurisdiction. So last but not least, we will be having our annual group bicycle ride Friday, March 31st. We will be starting right at 8 in the morning. So please try to get there by 7:30 in the morning to get you all signed up and checked in and sign all the liability forms. We will be starting at the TPA office, making our way through downtown West Palm Beach, and then making our way back to the TPA. So if you would like to join us, please register at palmbeachtpa.org/events. And that is all that I have for you all today. Thank you for joining our webinar. I can take any questions at this time.
Oh, yeah. Will you be sharing the presentation with the attendees? Yes.
Yes, we will be sharing the presentation with attendees.
We do have a question from Ross. This was great. While this discussion was largely about bike riders protecting themselves against others, we all know the biggest danger is drivers. What is the TPA/others doing to protect bike riders from automobiles?
Thank you so much, Ross, for your question. That is a great question. So we are doing a couple of things here at the TPA. First thing I would say is education. So we are actually part of the community traffic safety team, where we can relay all of the educational Florida state cyclist laws to law enforcement. So that is one of the groups that we are part of and something that we are doing. We are also doing these types of events. So the Safe Bicycling webinar, we do a lot of outreach to our communities and to drivers to ensure that they are aware of the new state laws. And we also have some upcoming events where they can all learn on how they can share the road with cyclists and pedestrians.
I don't see any other questions at this time. Oh, Ross just came in with a follow-up. Are we doing anything to change the built environment?
Thank you so much for your question, Ross. Yes, so at the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency, we do have 3 funding programs that all of our municipalities and the county can use to apply for those funding programs. So as I stated earlier, I do administer the Transportation Alternatives Program, which is a funding program which really focuses on pedestrian and bicycle small scale projects. So what are we doing to change the built environment? Well, many municipalities and the county have applied to our funding programs to apply for funding to improve those pedestrian and bicycle conditions. So those are some of the things that we are doing to change the built environment.
I don't see any other questions at this time.
All right. Well, if there are no more questions, then you please feel free to email me at vfacuse@palmbeachtpa.org if you have any other questions. I will now be ending this webinar session.